Good morning, everybody. I hope you are doing well on this very sunny and bright Friday. Feels like a nice summer's day. I'm hoping you're all well. Hope you've all had a lovely week. And I'm also hoping that everything's working as it should be. We are having some issues occasionally with Facebook, so I apologise if you're unable to find us there. And my sound settings have gone a little bit, what's the word? Annoying, temperamental. So I am on a different browser because I couldn't get the volume to switch off. I was getting awful feedback, which might mean my camera downward facing might go off in between. So we'll see how we get on. Today I'm going to be making some lovely necklaces with you. I've called them Marushka, and we're going to be doing a lovely kind of layered effect. So it is just one strand that runs along the back with a lovely little magnet clasp rather, and we've got these lovely little connectors which just make a nice little kind of drop effect. So you've got that lovely multi-layered settings going everywhere. What are you doing? So we've got some lovely colours for you to choose from. We've got 4 for you to choose from, and each contains 2 colours in the necklace. So I'm going to take you over to the website while we wait for a few to join us, and I'll show you what is in your kits today. Drop me a comment, let me know if all is working. There's no comments at the moment, but I can see I've got a few of you in. Hello, Judith. There you go. She says, good morning, Natalie and everybody. Supposed to be a nice weekend in central Scotland. I have just fallen in love, Judith. I visited Scotland this week. I did Edinburgh just for a little bit. I've done it once before, so got to see a little bit of Edinburgh. Then I went to Glasgow. Yesterday I went to Loch Lomond. I went to Balloch Castle. It's the most beautiful place ever. I've just absolutely fallen in love with it. I loved Glasgow. It's such a vibrant, beautiful city. You're lucky to live there. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place. So thank you for having me. So I'm going to take you over to the website now. We are totallybeads.co.uk, and you can see your Marushka kits today. So head over into the video tutorial category. You can find a few different ways to get into it, but if you head into video tutorials, you'll see this is today's Marushka pearl necklace. So we have 4 beautiful colours. We've got a black and a pearl. So if you want that monochrome look, that's going to be in a black plate for you. Black plate is going to be these beautiful little cube spaces that I'm using. All of your findings, so your callotes, your connectors, your jump rings, your crimp beads, and your magnetic clasp is going to be in the black plate. We've got brown and gold, which is going to be what I'm demoing for you today. That's going to be on a beautiful rose. For Colorway for your findings, we've got buttermilk and powder blue, which is going to be on your rhodium, and we've got watermelon and peach, which is a lovely pinky colour, and that is going to be on your gold, like yellow gold findings. Each kit is £9.99, and it makes up one necklace. I'll show you very quickly how they look. So we're using these lovely little connectors. They're like little triangles, which means quite easily you can attach one length of necklace and drop that down into 3 lovely layers. We've got these lovely little cubed beads with rounded edges just to act as little spacers, and just by adding in a different colour and different size of your pearls, that's going to give you what is this? I don't know if you can see. I do apologise if you can. I've got pop-ups everywhere. Just by adding those different colours and different size pearls in, we're going to get that kind of graduated effect. So each one will sit inside of the other. So I'm using the glass pearls. Excuse me. I've got a 6mm and 8mm pearl. The spacer cubes, your connectors, your Tigertail, your 8mm magnetic clasp, your callotes, your crimps, and your jump rings. Jump rings being outer diameter 6mm, and you can make along using everything that you need will be included in these kits. So if you want to have a little look at exactly the dimensions and measurements of things, you can scroll down. Those little spacer cubes are 3mm in size. You've got those lovely little connectors there, and it's just I've used 2 different colours to create a nice contrast. So it's quite a statement necklace. Very, very lovely, fits very comfortably. You can adjust the length of this by very, very easily. You can just change the amount of beads that you've put along the back. So that one there is your black and your pearl. The brown and the gold look like this, really, really lovely. I've warmed that up with the rose finding. So you've got a light copper in your magnetic spotted clasp. You've got the rose gold connector and your lovely diced cubes there as well. And I'm using the ecru as the larger pearl, 8mm and a 6mm in the brown. So £9.99 for each, whichever you prefer. This is your powder milk. And is it right? Is that powder? Yeah, buttermilk, sorry, and powder blue. I didn't think powder milk sounded right. So a lovely light blue colourway. I'll show you how they look on the mat as well. But of course, they look far lovelier when they're worn. Again, quite a statement piece, a little bit regal. Look lovely with, you know, a kind of high neck collar or a plunging neckline, a t-shirt, whatever you want to pop them with. This one is your watermelon and peach. And again, if you want to have a little look at your findings, you can just scroll down and see exactly what colours that we're using. The watermelon is a very lovely pinky colour, and the light peach is quite creamy, really. But I'll show you them down on the mat so you can see how they look under my light here, if the camera wants to play along. So head over to totallybeads.co.uk, go into your Facebook tutorials. Today is the Marushka pearl necklace, and you can choose from 4 lovely colourways. Please do drop me a comment if you can. Let me know where you're watching from. What time is it? What have you been up to? What have you been making? The most important question, what are you planning on making? Have you got any projects you've started and you've not quite finished yet? I have quite a few things to do. I've got loads to do, and lots to photograph and lots to make, various different things, but I'm enjoying making. So if I take you down on the mat, you can see this is the lovely blue colourway. I wish that would stop popping up. No. I don't know why it is popping up, and I don't know why I can't get it to go away. Can you see? To live, it's very, very lovely. With full of lots of lovely people and a beautiful, beautiful scenery as well. Okay, so this is your powder blue. There is a slight delay on my hands as well. All being well, you'll get to see how I'm making it. It's really easy to do. So all I'm doing here is I'm putting, oh my goodness, this needs to, all you need to do is you need to put your 4 larger pearls, your 8mm, alternating them, and then I'm dropping down and adding 5 onto the next row and then 6 onto the last row. All of these are exactly the same. I'm using 11 of the 6mm beads. My hands are still there, but they're not. It's going very slow. And I'm just adding those beautiful little cube spaces in between as I go, just for that central feature, attaching them all onto the culottes with those lovely connectors, and then just running up the extra pearls around the back. You can do whatever you design you want with this. I've used 20 of my pearls on each side on my 6mm glass pearls, and then 1 of the larger just for a feature. But again, you can change this up. You can make it larger, smaller. You can add more of your larger pearls in. You can do whatever you wish with that. So that one is the powder blue. We've got this lovely one here, which is on the black plate. So again, just adding those connectors just to give it a little kind of layered look really easily. Same amount of pearls and lovely little cubes being used in that. Judith says she can't see the pop-up. That's a relief, because it's it's covering my screen, so I can't see what I'm doing when it's there. This one is the lovely kind of browny coloured one. So this one is your brown and gold. I don't think these look that gold. I suppose it depends what you put things with, really, isn't it? So this watermelon one is with the peach, and I actually think they look a little bit more buttery, maybe. So really nice, straightforward necklaces to make. We're going to get going, and if you've got any questions, do pop them in the question box, or the comment section rather. If you've got any tips, if you just want to chit chat, then let me know how you're doing today. Now you can make this by just threading directly off on your tiger tail, or you can use a little bead stopper if you want to. I'm going to use about 30 centimetres. That's a good question. Where is my ruler? I'm just going to have to play it by eye because I don't know where. There it is. I am organised. I'm using about 30 centimetres, but again, you can just leave it on your reel if you want to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by just popping on 11 of my pearls, and I'm just going to make each section. So I'm going to slide on 11 of my 6mm pearls. And you can cut a longer length of tiger tail as well if you want to bring it back down for that extra strength. I'm going to be double crimping as I always do. And using these connectors are just a nice way to give that kind of layered effect. So the connectors look like little triangles like this. And again, you could do it the other way if you wanted to have more layers along the back and dropping down into one. But I'm going to do it this way so the 3 will hang from the bottom. So just thread on your pearls in whichever colour that you've chosen. And then I'm going to get my lovely cubed spacers out. So the cubes are rounded on the corners. They're really pretty. I quite like the fact that it's just giving a different texture and a different shape. If I can hold them up, you can see they've got a nice wide drill hole in. They are cubed with little kind of rounded edges, so it gives that kind of little circle look, flat front, which I think complements it really well. So I'm just going to add on my first cubed bead, which are 3mm in size, and then going to add on my larger pearl, which is the 8mm, and then I'm going to add a cube again, and I'm just going to alternate. So for the first, if I'm doing my first inside layer, I'm just going to use 4 of my pearls. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of the larger, and in between placing them on, I'm just going to alternate. So I'm going to go for a smaller 6mm and the cube, a larger 8mm and the cube, just make sure as you put in your cubes on that there's nothing blocking. Sometimes they can have a little bit of a blockage in them, but usually it just pokes out with the tiger tail. Back alternating with the 6. Again, if I can hold that up, you can see there's a tiny, it's just been where the metal's been punched out, but it's not gone all the way out. So if you push your tiger tail through, you'll find a little gap, and then a tiny little bit will usually come out with it. So alternating between each one, there'll be a cube after every bead, and then I'm just going from large, small, large. When I've put all 4 of my large pearls on, I'm going to finish with the large one and then the cube again. So it's looking like this. And then I'm just going to add another 11 of my 6mm. Now, a quick way sometimes that you can thread your beads on is you can line your beading thread, so in this case the tiger tail, and just line it up against the string that it's already strung onto, and just slide them over if you want to do it that way, saves picking them up. So 4, 5, 6. So just line it up and then remove that string so it's on my tiger tail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this is going to be my first inner row. And now it's just a case of attaching my findings. So I'm going to need my calotte and my crimp beads. Now you can bring this length back through the pearls if you wish to do it that way. If you don't feel you need it, and they are lightweight because they are just glass pearls, so lots of lovely colour, but making it not too heavy. Then I'm just going to pop 2 crimp beads onto the end. And doing it this way where it is still on my reel means I can make sure I'm not wasting any of the tiger tail as well. And then I'm going to just slide that crimp bead right up to the top of the tiger tail. And I'm going to give it a little flatten down. Now if you've got a crimping tool, that will flatten it and bend it over. If not, you're just going to flatten out with your pliers. There you go. So they've gone from rounded like this to just flattening down, and then that's going to hold on to that tiger tail. And I can slide my calotte up. I've made sure I've positioned it this way so those little holes are facing outward. Those crimp beads will sit inside that circular part of the calotte. I love a calotte, they're the easiest things to use and really, really strong. I'm then going to fold it over with my fingers just to check that they are nicely lined up. And when I'm happy with the positioning, just going to gently press with my pliers, and that's going to close that over to make that look like a bead. And then these 2 little holes at the end will be perfectly lined up, and I can attach my jump ring and things through that. I'm going to slide all of my beads up, and then I'm going to cut my tiger tail off from my reel. Going to leave a little bit extra just so I've got plenty to grip onto. Now what I want to do is I want to give this a little curve. Not only will I be able to check that I've got the same amount of those pearls, those 6mm on before I've started my little kind of central design, but I'm going to add a curve into this, because if I keep it straight and I push it really tight when I put my calotte on, I'll find that there's not a lot of movement. And what I want it to do is I want it to hang lovely. So I'm just going to put the curve in that I want it to sit in, and that's going to make sure that it's not too tight. I'm then going to take my other calotte. Again, it's going to be facing up outwards, and I'm going to just pick up 1 crimp bead and slide that on. I'm going to drop that crimp bead right down inside of the calotte, and then with my pliers I'm going to pinch to flatten that crimp bead, then add my next crimp bead just to make it extra sturdy. Let that drop so it sits directly on top of the last one, and again just flatten it down with my pliers just to pinch on to that tiger tail. If you want to, you can bring your tiger tail back through and you can run it through some of your pearls. You could do this at both ends if you want. Just going to run it back through 3 to begin with. That will be enough. And then going to pull it nice and tight so the tiger tail is tightly over those crimp beads, And I can do exactly the same. So I'm just going to close the calotte with my fingers, check it's lined up nicely. If it needs adjusting, then when I press with my pliers, I can move it slightly in the direction that I want to. And then any excess Tigertail or beading thread, I can just trim off. So that is my first inside section. And I've got another 2 to go. So it's really that straightforward. It's just a nice easy beading necklace, and then all I'm going to do is just assemble it by popping them together. So then I'm going to take my Tigertail again, just going to roll it back up onto my reel because it started to curl off. I'll leave that just there for now, and then I'm going to take my next 11 6mm pearls, and just slide them on. So the Tigertail is nice and strong. It gives a lovely shape to what I'm working with, and is my favourite beading material. It's not the best for like stitching. You need something a little bit more flexible and soft, I suppose. But when you're doing bead stringing, it's perfect for that. And I don't have to worry about tying knots or anything like that. I can just pop a crimp and callote on. So I've added my next 11 pearls, and then this time for the inner one I'm going to add 5 of my larger, so I'll just put those out to the side. So the first one had 4, the middle one will have 5, and then the last one will have 6. So again I'm going to start off with my cube, my pearl, which is larger, another cube, add a smaller pearl and a cube, a larger pearl and a cube. So I'm just really straightforward, just alternating between them both. Apologise if you can hear background noise. Still got builders next door. I have been having a proper sort out of my working space, so hopefully by Monday, at least Friday next week, you'll see I'm going to switch round my view. I've got the most beautiful cupboard which I've started to organise and fill with my sterling wire, my tools, all my cabs and gemstones. So I've still got lots of organising and tidying to do, but it's getting there. I'm soon going to have a space crowd to work in, which is nice when you spend a lot of time in a particular room. So finishing with my larger pearl and my cube, and then again just picking up 11 more of my 6mm. Just lining that up, and then you can just slide them on. So let's see how many I've got here. Stopped counting. Just distracted by the drilling in the background. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Checking that's right. Again, you can hold it up next to each other and check you're happy with the positioning of everything. If you want to, you can pop your calotte on, exactly the same as we did before. Or you can leave a little length of your tiger tail, pop your crimp beads on, and then bring that back through. Whatever you prefer. Adding on my 2 crimp beads. If you've got any excess tiger tail on the end and you're not bringing it back through, then just trim it off. Make sure that it all fits inside of your calotte. Slide your pearls up. Don't know what's going on with the comments today. I can see Judith and I can see lots of other people watching, but I can't see any comments. I'm really hoping the camera's okay, you can see what I'm doing. And if you've got any questions, I will go back. So I should be on Totally Beads YouTube, and I should also be on Natalie Pattern Jewellery, and I will get notifications of any comments on Natalie Pattern Jewellery on YouTube. So if you've made any comments, if you're watching afterwards, if you've got any questions, I will be able to answer that for you. So check they're nice and flat. You can either trim off, or I'm going to just miss the crimp beads, go back down the little hole in the calotte and back through some of those pearls. I tend to give it a little bend so I can see where the tiger tail is coming back out, so I can grab hold of it and pull it tight. So it should be coming out of this one here. If you need to just get a little bit of a purchase on that, pulling it nice and tight, making sure that there's no major gaps. So my pearls are sitting nicely and neatly next to each other. Tiny bit of pressure on that calotte. Coming nice and close. Make sure you're just trimming off the extra bit of tiger tail, not the part that's running through your beads. Okay, so this one is now going to sit outside of that one. And then the last one, we're just going to add that extra large pearl, 8mm pearl. So this one's going to have 6 through the centre. So you can see I've just got that nice contrasting colour. I'll just pop them there to the side. Pick up 11 of my beads. So I'm just pushing the tiger tail through the little drill hole. Pearls have got a nice sized drill hole in them, so you can pull that tiger tail back through. Give these a little count, make sure I've got 11 on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then again, we're going to start with the cube. The larger pearl, the cube, smaller pearl, and just keep alternating. So I should have a little cube in between each of the alternating sizes. Judith says, I'm glad others are watching. It feels very odd being the only one commenting. Feel quite voyeuristic, do you, Judith? I promise you that there are other people watching. I do think we're missing our usual Facebook lovelies because I don't know why, but we've been having a few issues with that. But there are lots of other people there, so they may be being shy, or they may just not be commenting, or there may be an issue with their comments. Sometimes a lot of people say that they can't comment. I think it depends on the device that they're watching from. If you're on a phone or a tablet, if you turn it round the other way, it might pop up. Oh. Make sure you alternate the size of your pearls. One, two, three, four, five. Let's get some more of the little cubes out. I do apologise if you can hear the drilling in the back. Okay, finishing with 6 of the larger pearls and the cube. Maybe no one's commenting because there's not much to say. It's quite a straightforward make. I'm just easy bead stringing. But you know, I do like a project where you can do something with great ease and get a really nice effect. And I think having this kind of multi-layered effect is really lovely. So I have been inspired by my trip to Scotland. I've got a little pair of Rennie Mackintosh design earrings that I've had for years. And I'd like to do something kind of Art Nouveau in style. But I also went to visit the Callotes, Judith, so I'd quite like to do something a bit horsey too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. So the last one, and then I can just have the fun of stringing on and connecting. So I'm going to take my calotte and get some of my crimp beads out. So I always like to double crimp and put 4 on in total. So I'll take this one down a little bit. Just making sure that's nice and flat. If it doesn't quite flatten, I mean, the thing is, if I've messed this up, if that hadn't flattened properly, I could just cut that off and then add another one on. It's a really easy fix. But by double crimping anyway, you've got that extra sturdiness. So I'm taking that tail back through the calotte. And then I'm just going to run it back through the beads. And you can do that on both ends, but I don't think it needs it. You might find you just need to give it a little bit of a wiggle. And then that end of the tiger tail will be hidden in the pearls. Line it up, give it a little flatten, create the curve. And then attach another colour and my crimp beads. So in your kit, if you get your kit from the Totally Beads website, it will have all of the components that you need in it. You'll have enough pearls of both sizes to make one necklace in this design, and you'll have enough crimp beads, enough culottes, all of the findings, and we've gone for this really lovely magnetic clasp as well. So it's 8mm in size. It's got that lovely kind of like little spotted, pitted design on it. Again, gives it a lovely texture. So you can bring that tiger tail back through, or you can just trim off the excess. And close it over. So providing you've put that amount of each one, so 11 on each strand on the outer, and then you've got 4 larger pearls, 5 larger pearls, and 6 larger pearls on the bottom. They should all fit nicely inside each other, and you've got all that lovely different texture and shimmer using those little spacer beads. All I'm going to do now is connect them to my connector. So you kind of want to make sure that your culottes are kind of facing in the same direction really, but you can tweak them as you go. I'm going to take my jump rings out. You can use smaller jump rings if you want to. I've got an outer diameter of 6mm here, which I think is an inner diameter of 4mm. So I'm just going to give it a little twist to open by just a few millimeters, or a millimeter really. I'm not opening it too wide. And I'm just sliding that through that culotte. So I'm going to work the outer to the inside, and then obviously it's a triangle, so it doesn't matter which way round you bring this. You will see there's some lovely little kind of little dots in the very centre, and it's the same on both sides. So it doesn't matter how you pick this up. I'm just going to make sure that those 3 strands are hanging off the bottom of the 3. So opening up, sliding through my culotte. This one's going to go onto the middle. So just hooking it into that little hole, and then making sure my jump ring is nicely closed. So it gave me a little click there, which is very satisfying. I just want to open it up towards me like so, and then close it and moving it away from me. That's going to make sure it's not going to distort the shape of that lovely round jump ring, and it's going to keep it nice and strong. So just make sure they're perfectly lined up. And then the same on the other side. So I'm going to open up 3 jump rings, little turn towards me, slide through the holes in the connector, which should be nicely lined up. Sorry, onto your clasp. There you go. I knew it was going to go off at some point. Please do bear with me. We did well, but if I put it on the other one, I'm just a bit concerned that even when I switch all my volume off, it still has a habit of just giving the most horrendous feedback. So let me... Is this okay? Oh, Hannah! Good morning. Totally channel then to yours so you can see the comments. Thanks, Jan. There's a lovely necklaces, and I got my kits the other day. I love the colours and bought all of them. Thank you so much, Jan, and thank you for coming to find me. I am on YouTube, on Totally Beads, And also I've got my channel too, which is Natalie Patton, spelt without the R, Patten, jewellery, and I'll share all of my tutorials on there as well. So there's lots of ways to find us. When I've finished, I'll share this in the Facebook Totally Beads Handmade group as well, so anybody can catch us up there. So I've got my 2 connectors that are just going to sit off at the top, and all I need to do now is make this lovely beaded section at the back. So for this particular length, what I've done is I've added 20 of my small pearls and a larger one, and I've just made 2 little lengths of that. So you probably need I don't know, 20 centimetres. You won't even need that. So if you want to cut 20 centimetres of your tiger tail, then you can just, the sound is echoing. Oh, I'm so sorry. Let's try. Is this better? Jan says, I made the Boudica necklace and earrings and made a bracelet to match. I see, Jan. I love them. I really love them. That was using the Romanov Byzantine kind of technique with the chainmail, wasn't it? Now, I don't know whether I've got enough beads because obviously I've made 2 of these. So I might change up the design for this, just for this sample. But all I have been doing is just adding my pearls. I've used all of the smaller 6mm and just one of the larger at the end. But you can do whatever you want with that. Again, still really easy bead stringing. So I will pop that off to the side. And I will try and reel back up my tiger tail. Hello, Tracy. She says Friday Gremlins. Good morning to Joanne as well. We got all the J's in today. We got Jan, Judith, and Joanne, and a Tracy. She says, good morning, Natalie. Everyone is over on Totally Beads YouTube and wondering what's happening. I did get a message off Simon this morning saying it might not work and we're not sure why. But there you go. I'm here, I'm sure you are, but I'm always here, Mondays and Fridays, 10 a.m. UK time. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play about with my design for this section just because I don't have that many 6mm pearls left, but you will have more than enough in your kit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I might just pop 12 on. So I'm going to, just for now, I'm going to start off with a large one. I'm going to put a small one on. I'm going to put a large one on. I could, if I wanted, even put the spaces in between. But I think I'm just going to do a little alternating pattern. And you could always use an extender chain as well, I suppose. So all I would be doing in the design that I've put in your kits together is just stringing on 20 of the 6mm and popping 1 of the 8mm on the bottom. Given the fact that the live's going rogue, I'm going to go rogue and I'm going to just make something up. So I'm just going to slide on, and this is just going to sit at the back of my neck. Why not? Let's add them all in. So this will probably sit much higher if I do it smaller. Oh my God. last one on. Let me check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. Hello, Camille. She says, good grief, finally found you here. Been chatting away on the other channel. I'm so sorry, Camille. I don't know what's going on today. Judith said, go rogue, Natalie. See, I do miss not interacting with you. I feel, I know I chat too much, and I know some people like to just watch the make. And you don't want to hear about me little jolly in Scotland and all the rest of it. But it just feels really odd when I feel lonely when I've not got anyone to speak to. I feel like I'm just talking at you, especially when it's something like this. You know, if I was doing like maybe a detailed wire project or whatever, I'd be talking step by step, but I'm literally just threading on some pearls. So it's gorgeous, but it doesn't really need a lot of verbal instruction with it. I'm just gonna slide on my calotte. I think lengthwise that will be absolutely fine. Let's hope I've got enough to go on the other side and match it. So again, just adding on my calotte, facing it outwards, popping on my crimp bead. Again, I'm going to get a little bit of a curve in that. I don't want it too tight. It's going to fit nicely around my neck. I want that shape to kind of stay. Giving myself a better angle just to push down that crimp bead. Should really use crimping pliers. I know I've got some somewhere, but it's not a necessity. Okay, I'm just going to trim that off. And then what you need to make sure is whatever pattern and order of pearls that you've put on this side, you need to do the same on the other as well. It needs to be symmetrical to sit and hang right, or evenly. So, I mean, even if you want to change up the order, you need to do the same amount. It needs to be the same length. So I'm going to start with my larger for this particular design. I hope I've got the same amount of pearls, enough pearls left. Smaller pearl, larger pearl, 3 of my 6mm. Let's take some of these off the strand. Judith said I felt like I was having a one-on-one tutorial. Camille said we're all here wondering why you're blanking us. Oh, I'm not. And Tracy says technology was made just to torment us. It was for me, wasn't it? Judith said I was scared to go and make a quick cover. No, don't leave me, Judith. Well, it's nice to offer a personal service, Judith. Me and you will just have a chat. We'll forget that everyone else is watching. These do make me laugh. Thank you so much for being patient and understanding with the issues that we seem to be continuing to have. I'm not really sure what's going on. I feel like I spend most mornings faffing with the technology rather than kind of prepping the actual make. There you go. It is what it is. We muddle through. We're still smiling. I think am I going to be a pearl short? No, I'm not. So I'm just playing about with the design. But you can make this as straightforward or as you know, as whatever you want. Even if you just wanted to not include this beaded section around the neckline and just add a chain, you could do that. You won't get it in your kit, but you will get everything you need. It is called the Marushka multi-strand necklace, and they are, I think they were £9.99. Joanne's got a question. She says, was asked over the other channel, how long does the tiger tail need to be? Now, you can make your tiger tail longer if you want to bring it back through. I've included plenty in your kit. So what I've used for these sections in the middle is 30 centimetres each. I would say 20 centimetres each for this section here. So you've got more than enough in your kit if you buy the kit. If you've got stuff in your stash, then you don't need, I'm doing it off my my reel today. I did get my ruler out, but I've not measured it, and that's just in case I wanted it longer, just to bring it back through for additional strength. Thank you for sharing that, Joanne. I appreciate it. Anyone else got any questions? Let Joanne know. Camille says you can't leave us out. And Camille says Joanne is the official messenger between the channels now. I'll go back and try and catch it when I've finished. I'll finish in a few minutes, and I'll go back and answer anything that I have missed and say hello to you all. Okay, so all I'm doing now is adding on my last crimp bead. Trimming off the excess tiger tail and closing it over. So when I put together the kits, choose all the colours, give it a bit of a design, check it all works, and then I put all the information together for the warehouse. So I will say we need, for this design, so many jump rings, so many cloths, so many crimp beads, so many this, that and the other. So everything that I use, you will have enough in your kit. Everything will be there for you. What size are the crimp beads? It's something like 0. Are they like 2 millimeter? I will double check for you. Again, they're all included in your kit. I'm not too sure. Let me just see if I can have a little look on the website. They are 2 millimeter. Yeah, I do know. I use them all the time. Okay, so now it's just a case of assembling them together. So I'm going to take another of my jump rings. So I'm just opening up my jump ring, and I'm going to attach it to the top of the little triangle connector. It's getting shot. And the bottom of my section that runs along my neckline. And I'm just going to make sure that when I attach this next part, that my pearls are in the same order. So for this design, if I just squeeze that in there, the larger pearls will be at the bottom. And then I'm just going to thread it through the top of my triangle connector. I love all the curves in this. I love the curvy cubes, and I love the circles on the connector. There you go. And now I'm just going to attach that together with the lovely magnetic clasp. So I will clean my desk of all the little bits at the end. So I've got it in that lovely rounded shape. And then I'm going to slide it through the little hole in, or the little connecting loop on the connector. Just using 2 pairs of pliers to open up the jump ring. In terms of tools, I've used cutters, I've been using my tweezer nose pliers, but chain nose pliers will do. And then 2 pairs of pliers just to open and close the jump rings. I think that's that, isn't it, really? Simple makes, but very pretty and effective. I'll put it on my bust. So if I bring this back up, you can see how it looks on. There you go. Joanne says the brown reminds me of mocha. I love these colours together. So I think it's a very regal looking necklace. You know, it is a statement piece, but it's a really, really easy make. Just a quick recap. On each of these sections of the 6mm beads, I've used 11. Then I've alternated in between with the cubes and the 6mm with these lovely contrasting colour of the 8mm pearl. For the inside one, I've used 4 of the 8mm pearls. For the middle, I've used 5 pieces of the 8mm pearls. And at the bottom, I've used 6. And that's going to make sure that they sit just beautifully inside of each other. For the part that runs around the back of your neck, on the samples in your kit, I used 20 pieces of the 6mm pearls and 1 large 8. But you can do whatever you want. You probably will have some extras in your kit. So if you want to change it up, I think that looks quite nice and should sit quite comfortably. They're really, I think, a really lovely make. Jan says they're absolutely gorgeous. Thank you, Natalie. Tracy says simple but beautiful. Camille says very pretty. And Judith says I really like the rogue back section. Turned out all right, didn't it? So your kits today are Marushka. They are £9 and 99 pence each. You can get them in black and pearl, brown and gold, buttermilk and powder blue, watermelon and peach. We ship worldwide, so if you would like to get them, you can do. Just click on the website and we should ship pretty quick for you. We do have that lovely magnetic clasp, which means this dress doesn't really work with it, but it does clip on really easy, makes it really easy to take on and off. I suppose if I just fix my collar, yeah, it doesn't show it off to its best, but you can see where it sits. It's a nice, comfortable make. Judith says it's lovely. Thanks, Natalie. And Joanne says all very elegant and beautiful. Thank you so much for bearing with me today. There's about 40 of you still here, still joining me live. I'm going to try and check any comments I've missed. I hope you all have a very lovely weekend. I'm going to be back with you on Monday, and I'm making bracelets, a really simple but pretty bracelet again. Looking at mixing lots of shapes and lots of colours, so and lots of sparkle, of course. So come and join me on Monday if you can, and I will see you all then, everybody.